Muscles are built with carbohydrates, mineral salts, right? So glucose and mineral salts. A friend of mine's a huge bodybuilder guy, famous like from 40 years ago. And he'll say to me, how's it going with your cardio? How's it going with your biking? How's it going with, because he knows I like to bike, knows I like to run. And he's like, even in my day when I was a bodybuilder, I couldn't run that many miles because it's different. You know, you're purposely putting on mass. You know, he told me this too. He said, you're right, AW. Every time, because I try to teach him stuff, every time he said that he would eat more protein, he said he would be losing his muscles. But then when he would do some more carbohydrates, he would get bigger muscles. And he couldn't understand it. And now I made it clear to why. It's why I tell chronically ill people, people who are sick, people who are really sick and they can't exercise, they can't build muscles, they can't get into the gym, they can't do any kind of workouts, they can't go running, they can't ride a bike, they're sick, they're on Mattress Island. I always say, it's not about the protein, it's about the carbohydrate. Because the carbohydrate and the trace mineral salts hold the muscle together, because if you're not able to use your muscles, you don't want them to atrophy so much, so you got to make sure you're getting the carbohydrate, the glucose and the mineral salts. That's what sustains muscles for sick people so they don't waste away. And bodybuilders have to bring in carbs and do bulking in order to get more muscle. When a bodybuilder goes truly keto and doesn't do enough carbohydrates, they lose their muscles. So bodybuilders do bulking and cutting. Bulking means the bodybuilder has to bring in all kinds of carbohydrates with all the fat they're eating. And then they get hulked up because they got a layer of fat and they're building muscle. And then they realize now they're getting too fat, but they built up more muscle, so now they have to cut back. It's called cutting, bulking and cutting. And now they got to cut back on their carbs. But really, they're cutting back on all of it. They're cutting back on their calories altogether, and they're cutting back on their food. And now they're trying to lose some weight, but keep their muscle. And then they start losing their muscle again, so then they go into bulking and cutting again. This is what weight people do. They bulk and cut. They have to bulk up on carbohydrates and fats combined because they're not going to give up the fat. So they're just going to keep the fats and they're going to bulk up, bulk up, bulk up. And then they got to drop the food, bulking and cutting. Because you can't keep your muscles unless you got sugar going into your muscles to grow them.
Let's say we're getting a lot of protein in our diet and a lot more than we need. What happens to the extra? Does the extra make us extra strong? Do we get extra muscle? Not so much. Our bodies don't treat protein the same way it treats fats and carbs. So once we've used the protein we've got today for its needs, so we're doing muscle maintenance, enzymes, hormones, the rest, excess protein, is broken down. And there's no place to store it. So when we're breaking it down, we have to take the nitrogen, turn it into ammonia, the kidneys have to work to excrete it, and the rest gets turned to carbohydrate and fat. You can't just eat more protein and be stronger. You actually are making your body work harder to get rid of it at that point. Published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, eating more protein was not associated with increase in muscle mass unless it was accompanied by rigorous resistance training. And most of us aren't trying to build muscle, we're just trying to maintain it. So I think we're going to be okay.
Protein powder is the biggest scam. It's the biggest scam. Oh my God, you use so many of them. It's the biggest scam of a lifetime. Honestly, it's the biggest scam. Protein powders is such a scam. It just is. It's always been one of the greatest scams. And the money made, you guys have no idea the money that was made in the last 20 years on protein powders. With all the MSG in it, all the natural flavors in it, you guys have no idea. I mean, the amount of scamming that's happened it's psycho.
What nobody wants to tell these unfortunate bodybuilding customers is why people are selling whey protein. They're selling whey protein because when you take milk and you convert it into cheese, as the cheese becomes solid, you have all this water that's left over. and you have to drain it out, that water has whey protein in it. And for many years, the dairy farmers couldn't figure out what to do with all of that whey. They would bury it in a landfill. They would pay people to take it away. And somebody found out a number of years ago that they could dehydrate it, put it in a tub, and put it on the shelf and say, this will build your muscles. And sadly, people believed it and they buy it. To this day, that's what it is. It's the junk of the cheese industry.
It kind of falls into like the whole thing with mind control and protein and everything about that. If you isolate the protein from the pea, it's useless. It's actually stupid. It's just useless. Any time you isolate protein, it doesn't work. But it's everything else in a beautiful green pea that is so good for you. Peas. Peas, peas, peas. Stupidest thing ever is isolating pea protein. I don't know of a dumber thing, but then you know what? I do know of dumber things than that, I guess. Protein scam is out of control, and it is out of control because if you got chronic illness, you're not going to heal if you're focused on protein. It's not going to be possible. If you were to isolate protein and just consume isolated protein, just say, and that's all you ate for a few months, you would end up looking like a Holocaust victim. Because everything would just fall apart. Your body would just fall apart. You would just lose every ounce of muscle and weight and everything else. Isolated protein doesn't build muscle, doesn't help muscle, doesn't support muscle. Protein isn't the answer. It's all these other things. It's all this other stuff.
Do we have to eat meat to get complete protein?
Oh my God. Oh my God. You want me to jump off this Belton Junction now? Well, first of all protein is made by plants. I'll state that again for the record. All protein is initially made by plants. All of it. And it is not necessary to eat animal tissue in order to get protein. Only plants have the ability to actually take nitrogen from the air, break those molecules apart, and incorporate that nitrogen into amino acids and then make protein. Any protein you get from an animal is simply recycled plant protein. And you hear this a lot in bodybuilders. They're like, well, I need, chicken, or I need fish to be, to be strong, to build muscle tissue. That is utter nonsense. The largest, strongest terrestrial animals on the planet are all herbivores. The biggest, strongest animals are all herbivores.
Thing about protein. Eat more plants. It's not how much you get, it's where you get it from. And plants offer more than enough to help you lead a healthy and strong life. I can think of plenty of examples of really large, strong creatures that don't obsess about protein and don't eat any meat. I even know a bunch of big, strong, healthy human herbivores. In a world that's constantly chasing more protein, more health, more vitality, maybe sometimes the answer should be not to add, but to
protein powder.
Protein powder?
Could
With
I
all
do
that
that?
crappy natural flavor crap and everything else
What
in
if
there?
it's a good protein powder?
What's a good protein powder?
I love Momentous. Have you tried it?
What's on the ingredient list?
I can show it to you. They're third party tested. They're NSF certified.
Yeah.
They are supposed to be one of the cleanest ones out
But
there.
we don't do anything with straight protein.
No, but you put it in a smoothie
yeah.
or yogurt or whatever.
No,
you
I
put.
mean, straight protein doesn't do anything for the body. Like if you just isolated protein and had somebody on that as a diet for about 3 months,
Yeah.
they would look like a Holocaust victim.
That's probably true.
It is true. So, what happens is that protein isn't like the answer. That whole protein thing
I know.
is a whole nother problem on its own. So I just made 10 more friends?
Yeah.
Or did I just lose 10
You
more
lost-
friends?
you lost
I just
a
lost
lot
a
of
bunch of
friends.
friends.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
You lost a lot of friends.
You know what? I still have to, you know what though? Those friends, 5 years down the road, will start hearing every day that protein isn't what we thought
Is it? Well,
was.
no, I just had a whole podcast about this.
There you
Protein
go.
has been it's like the trend right now. It's
Yeah.
all about protein.
Yeah.
Are people just over protein themselves?
I talked about it 10 years ago in the medical medium books before anybody even uttered it. Yeah, I mean, people are just over proteining themselves. Protein isn't the answer to really fix anything. It doesn't fix chronic illness. You get sick or have a symptom, protein makes it worse. It just makes it worse.
Why?
Whether it's plant protein, like whether it's beans and just all bean protein, whether it's just all and only pea protein, whether it's just animal protein, if you're focused on just protein only and you're sick, you're going to get sicker.
Why?
Because there's no real glucose. There's no living water. There's no trace minerals. There's the things that actually heal you. They're the things that you need to recover your central nervous system, your vagus nerves. You sit there like messing with protein all the time when you get sick. That's another trap. You're just going to go down the road, you know? But what you do, you got proteins naturally in everything. Anyway, the mango has protein in it. Spinach has protein in it. All the leafy greens, arugula has protein in it. You know, you can get protein virtually everywhere in anything. You don't need to do the powders and hammer on like isolated factory made protein. I don't care if it's third party tested.